What's going on, you guys? Slim here today with a really special video and an awesome deck profile. We're going to be going in depth with Gren Maju, the Golden Castle build, and this time I'm not alone. I got my boy Yishan McNabb, the guy who got second place at YCS Portland with his amazing deck. He's the expert. I'm just here to show you guys some cool flashy cards, and then the rest of the video, it's all him. If you guys are new here, consider subscribing, hit that notification bell, be notified whenever I upload, you'll be notified whenever I stream over on Twitch, links in the description, TCG player link if you want to purchase any of these cards, Patreon in the description below if you want to support the channel. I'm here to show you the cards real quick, and then I'm getting up out of here because I'm gonna let the Grandmaster do his thing. I just wanted to show you guys the real life profile before he goes on to the DN, a more in-depth portion of the video. If you guys like this format of doing deck profiles like this, please let me know and it'll be something we do in the future. I'm just gonna show you guys the cards really fast. Of course, triple Gren Maju, triple Eater of Millions, triple Gizmek. That'll never change in a Gren Maju deck. I'm not really gonna explain any of the cards. That's where Yishan's gonna come in. I just wanted to show you guys the IRL profile for those of you that like to see real cards. Like I said, if you prefer this type of profiles and stuff in the future, let me know. The dangers, this never changes. They're the best ones. For your castle package, 2 Glyph, 2 Hextrude. That basically hasn't changed either. And then the last regular monster is Prankatops. You are a dedicated going second deck. There are hand traps in this deck. Like I said, Yishan will be explaining everything, but I wanted to just show you guys the cards real quick so you guys are getting an idea of what you're going to see over on his portion of the video. Again, be sure to check my boy out. He's at over 500 subs now. I want to see him hit at least 1,000. He definitely deserves it. He's been dedicating a lot of time to the deck. Golden Castle, Desires, Super Polys, all standard stuff, Power 1-ups. Main deck, 40 cards, you guys. Clean 40. Extra deck real quick, all the rank 8 you're going to need. Pretty much every single one has its position in this deck, so we're just going to show you guys why we play them. Again, he will explain all that. You guys should be familiar with this newer combo in Gren Maju. This is like an OTK for 9,000. All these other guys are self-explanatory. Then we've just got some generic links because you just need them. They're good. Don't really need to explain that. And then super poly targets. So you can play all these. They're all good. And this one as well. The only one I'm missing, I'll put a little picture right here, is the Draco Equesti, whatever thing's called. I just don't own that card, but Yishan will explain why we play that card. He explained to me why he chose to play it, and the card's insane. Richard, I guess you'll take his place for right now, but that's the whole extra deck. And then the side real quick. Usually this would be on Patreon, but since we're doing a joint project, I decided to have it released here, and there'll be other content over on Patreon. This is just stuff we're citing. We're citing Entis. You guys already know that's for Dogmatica. We got our back row removal. We've got Talents, which will need a lot of explanation. This is a very interesting card in this deck. And then your floodgates for going first. There can only be one summon limit and red reboot because we can literally OTK the opponent. Well, that's my quick portion of the video, you guys. I'm going to hand it over to Yishan. Hopefully you guys do enjoy. Smash that like button if you enjoy this profile, if you enjoy this type of content and this format of doing it. Let me know what you guys think, and I will see you guys over on the next part of the video.
Hi everybody, Yishan here. If you're seeing me for the first time on Slim's channel, I wanted to introduce myself really quickly. My name is Yishan McNabb. I'm a really dedicated Gren Maju player. I brought Gren Maju to YCS Portland and actually was able to get second place with it. So some could say that I was sort of the one to bring this deck into the spotlight and give it the recognition that it deserves. So I'm your resident Gren Maju expert here, and Slim and I worked on this Golden Castle Gren Maju deck profile together. We sort of fixed it up because right now, I mean, if you've noticed, the format is basically combo, and some more combo. So going second decks are having a little bit of a tough time. I don't think I've been forced to go second after losing the dice roll ever, this format. And so, you know, Slim and I, we sort of fixed this deck up, and then I wanted to give you my thoughts on the card by card in this deck. So let's just hop right into it. We've first got the 3 Gren Maju Aiza, just the namesake card of this deck. It's not like a primary win condition. It comes out sometimes to just catch your opponent off guard. You're winning, you know, half your games with this and half your games with your rank 8 strategy beatdown style deck. It's a really cool, really fun card. There's nothing more satisfying than summoning someone that has like 10,000 attack and just one-shotting your opponent. A really cool namesake. 3 Gizmek. I would say Gizmek is actually the best card in the entire deck. Not only is it a level 8, not only does it banish, not only does it pop, it's also a recursive threat. So it really does everything that you want. Actually, when I built this deck, when I first created Golden Castle Gren Maju, I built it around Gizmek, and so that's probably the reason why it is the best card in the deck, because it was built around this card. 3 Eater of Millions. Really quick Banish Outlet, you just get like 15 if you need to right away. Helps get rid of monsters, helps OTK as well because it can get a lot of attack points for a monster that you can just special summon. So I really like Eater. And then another duo of aggressive cards is the 3 Danger Bigfoot and the 3 Danger Thunderbird. Really great level 8 beaters. You're usually going second, so even if your opponent discards them, you're still able to get a pop off. I would actually consider these first 15 monsters that I've gone over staples to this deck. And so, you know, there wasn't much fixing to do here. But when we get into the next part of the deck, there's been some fixing going on. Let's go over the next part of the deck. We've got 3 D-Shifter and 3 Nibiru. Now, the great thing about Gren Maju is you can actually play D-Shifter, and in this combo-heavy format, I mean, you sort of have to play D-Shifter because, I mean, those combos are getting pretty crazy. Everyone's comboing, but D-Shifter basically stopped every combo deck. You want basically one hand trap that just shuts down the combo. There's no point in trying to Ash or Imperm. I've seen Rocket Link play through 3 negates, no problem at all. So you definitely just want to open one hand trap and let the other cards in your hand help you take advantage of that hand trap and OTK your opponent. And I've actually found, because I'm sort of a math guy, I like doing math and analyzing stuff, I've found that 6 hand traps is the optimal way to go if you're trying to open exactly 1 hand trap in a 5-card hand. Okay, so that's why I run 6. Now the next card, and I think this card really did help glue this deck together, is this fantastical Dragon Phantasme. Now, one of the weaknesses, and I would say a big weakness of the Golden Castle Gren Maju deck, because the deck has a lot of power, don't get me wrong, but one of its big weaknesses is it sometimes draws too much of one part of the deck. It draws too many castles and Grens. It draws too many hand traps and not enough OTK power, right? Sometimes you just can't do anything because you feel like you're bricking, and you want to be as consistent as possible. So I actually think that Phantasme is sort of the glue that holds this deck together, because not only does it help you see your hand traps more if you need to see them, it also fixes your hand, which is really important in this deck, because I think Golden Castle has the highest ceiling out of every Gren Maju deck, but it also can be really weak sometimes. It's funny because I got this idea for Phantasme from one of Slim's old Gren Maju deck profiles, and I was like, wait, I think it would actually be perfect for this format, because this format, we want to see our hand traps, but when we play our hand traps, we're diluting the threats in our deck, and so I'm like, okay, how can I make sure and alleviate this problem? I said, well, Phantasme is perfect. Not only does it put out a beater, it helps fix your hand, and helps you draw into your high impact hand traps if you don't have them already. So Phantasme, definitely something I think is holding this deck together, gluing this deck together, and making it run much more smoothly than my previous iterations of the deck. Next, we've got 1 Dino Wrestler Pankratops. I mean, it's just your best going second card probably ever printed. I mean, it's just so generic, so easy. I mean, if it was level 8, I would be in love with this card, but it's level 7, but still just so good. It's a pop, it's a beater, it threatens like a bunch of negates. Really solid. Okay, so next thing I want to talk about is the Golden Castle engine in this deck. Now, I'm a math guy, like I just said, and I love Golden Castle, so I was playing a lot when I first started playing this deck, and I cut it down to 6, because I used to be playing Terraforming and 3 Glyph, because Glyph searches the Golden Castle, if you're not aware, and Golden Castle special summons Hextrude, which is like a level 8 beater that pops cards. I was originally playing 6 or 7 Golden Castles, and I cut it down because I saw that people were cutting it down, and I was drawing too many castles. And I was a big believer at 6 for a while, but I was like, wait, let's take a look at the numbers. Let's see what the numbers tell me, right? Because I'm a numbers guy. And so here's what the numbers told me, and this is pretty crazy actually. If you go from 6 Golden Castles to 5 Golden Castles, you only lose 1% chance on opening exactly 1 castle. And you want to open exactly 1 castle because that's like the optimal number to open. You go from like 43 to 42 or something like that, and you lose only 1% from 6 to 5. However, your chance of opening 2 or more castles goes down by like 10%, something crazy like that. So you're literally trading 1% for 10%. I was like, man, I guess 5 is actually a pretty good number. So I looked at the numbers, that's what I discovered. If you want to see a lot more math than you can come check out my channel. But for this deck, that's what's relevant to this deck. So I thought I'd bring that up, and that's why we're running 5 castles. Okay, next, 1 Harpy's Feather Duster, 1 Monster Reborn. I mean, these cards are just so good. Harpy's Feather Duster, even if it only trades 1 for 1, it's still fine, but it's in those blowout matchups where you're like, oh baby, like you just set 3 back row, okay, Duster, boom, you're dead. You know, Reborn can sometimes be weak if you open it in conjunction with D-Shifter. However, I find that you're able to actually Monster Reborn D-Shifter because it's in your graveyard, and so you can still get some value out of Monster Reborn. So still a really cool card to have in this deck. And then of course, 3 Pot of Desires. I mean, this card is just like the second best card in the deck. And then 3 Super Polymerization. Now, Super Polymerization, it's a bit contentious in this format. However, I'm a believer that you want to play these blowout cards, and I think Super Poly, you sort of have to play it in the main deck if you're playing a Go Second Gren Maju deck right now, and you sort of have to hope that it's just good enough. That's what you have to hope right now. We've got some cool targets in the extra deck that I want to talk about. You know, we'll get there soon. Let's talk about the side deck first. So we've got 3 Lightning Storm and 1 Red Reboot to assist you with the back row decks. If you don't have Lightning Storm, it's really not a problem. Just run 3 Twin Twister, no big deal. Another thing that I'm doing is running 40 cards, and a lot of people like to go over 40, and I think there's some merit to that. However, I watched Dakota Angelov's video about running 40 cards, and one of the arguments he made, and I actually realized I agree with, is your side deck cards are super high impact, and you need to draw them. More than half your games are going to be played with your side deck, and so consistently drawing your side deck cards is really going to make a big difference. That's why I'm running 40, and these 3 summon limit and 3 there can be only ones. I mean, these cards are just total killers against the meta decks. I mean, imagine someone makes you go first. Any sort of like modern Yu-Gi-Oh deck. I mean, summon limit, like you just summon limit them, like they literally cannot do anything. They can't out it with Nightmare Phoenix because they literally can't summon. So yeah, I really think that these cards are worth playing, and sort of the reason why this deck is kept at 40 so that you're able to draw these cards more. Actually, I remember at the YCS, I won a lot of my games because I was just able to draw a bunch of TC boos against my opponents. There's an argument for running 40. 3 Triple Tactics Talent. Now, this is an interesting card because Slim and I were talking about this, and we were like, well, I really like this card, but sometimes it's just no good. Like, sometimes it's just not good enough. You want to side in at the right time. Like, you know, against Invoke, I mean, that's a perfect deck to side it in against. Boom, they Mecha Bug you. I mean, you activate this card, it's really good. But against those like decks that are like just putting out like 4 negates, usually this isn't going to quite get you there. And so it takes some practice learning when to side this card in and when to keep it out. Okay, last card in the side deck, 2 Elder Entitans. This is something we're trying out in the Dogmatica matchup. A lot of times, Dogmatica decks are siding Max, which is the one that forces you to dump. And they will see, oh, okay, this guy's playing Gren Maju. I don't think he has space for the dumps, so I'm going to side in my Max. And then you can just side these in, take out like 2 irrelevant Super Poly targets, like maybe the Violet Chimera and the Dragonite Dracoid Quest, and boom, you know, you're good to go. So we're trying that out and seeing how it goes. Well, let's talk about the Super Poly targets now in the extra deck. Hey, Yishan, what the heck is this card? Dragonite Dracoid Quest. What is this? Well, this is actually an Infernal Knight Super Poly target. You can take their Borlode, Savage Dragon, and their Charles, and turn it into this Dragonite Dracoid Quest, which is pretty cool. Now, this card was actually brought to my attention from someone in the Gren Maju Facebook page, and at first I sort of dismissed it, like, I don't think this is good enough because, you know, they're running Smoke Grenade and ripping cards out of your hand. Like, they're just going to take the Super Poly. But then I was like, wait a second. Sometimes you play against Infernal Knights, and you can either top deck this, or they look at your hand, they're ripping like 1 or 2 cards out of it, and they're like, I don't think this guy can Super Poly me because, you know, I don't see a valid target. I don't have 2 Darks. I don't have, you know, I'm not susceptible to Mud Dragon. I should be good, right? And then boom, you hit him with this Dragonite Dracoid Quest. It's really fun, really cool moment. So that's why I'm playing this right now as a response to Infernal Knight. 1 Invoked Elysium. I play this because this Invoked is pretty popular right now, and if you can summon this card out, I mean, it's like a total blowout. It banishes your entire opponent's field. It's like 3200 attack. Banishes all their monsters as a quick effect, which is like kind of insane, so that's why I'm running this right now. 1 Mud Dragon, just a very generic and good Super Poly target. 1 Predaplant, you know, a lot of fusions running around, especially with Dragoon, so this can help. 1 Violet Chimera for the Salamangreat matchup. I'm not running Earth Golem at Ignister right now. The only Cyber deck I see is Salamangreat, and if you're going to play against Salamangreat, you'd rather have the Violet Chimera because it's level 8 and allows you to make those rank 8 plays. And then 1 Starving Venom Fusion Dragon. I mean, this card is just like the most generic Super Poly target. Darks are always around, seems like. Let's take a look at the extra. We've got 1 Dingirsu, just a, you know, your standard rank 8. Comes up all the time. Post Phantom Rage, this card might be better with the Negalogia Azus, but this does come up quite a bit, and I still recommend you play it. And then 1 Draglubian. This Draglubian, basically its job is to either summon Hope Harbinger or Numeron Dragon. Hope Harbinger negates its spell, and the Numeron Dragon, you can detach it, and basically its effect is you gain 9,000 attack. I mean, that's pretty crazy. Just OTK really easily. So yeah, that's how that works. 1 number 23 Lancelot, the Dark Knight of the Underworld. This card is like the borderline cut, maybe. I haven't used it in a while, but sometimes it does come up, and like, you know, if like your opponent's got like a floater on the field, you summon this, you can attack them directly, pop the floater, negate their floater, and then you still have a negate for your opponent's turn, so that works pretty well. Stigate is mandatory though, which kind of sucks. Still pretty good. We have space in this deck. One Sanif on the Sky Prison, just a great rank 8. Like it's against a lot of rogue decks too. It works against Salaman great. Against like, you know, I think Dragon Link it works alright. Against like Dragon Maids it works. So yeah, that sort of stuff it works pretty well. Then we've got one Nightmare Cerberus, one Phoenix, and one Unicorn just to round out this Nightmare package. You know, you want some links sometimes to just pop your back row or pop a monster, and these do come in handy quite a bit. Actually, yeah, that's it guys for the deck profile. I hope you guys enjoyed my reasoning behind all these card choices. If you've never played Gren Maju before, I really recommend you try it out. It's so much fun, and it's once you get someone once with Gren Maju, you're gonna be hooked. I can guarantee you guys. And so thanks for watching. I want to thank Slim one more time for hosting me on his channel, and I will see you guys hopefully on some of my future videos.